Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Marvel Legends THUNDRA figure. Now this is mostly the red She-Hulk figure, but there's some new parts, and it's actually pretty well done. I don't know, the arms still look too short to me, but it's kind of harder to notice on this figure, so it doesn't bother me as much. She does have some definite size to her, about 7¼ inches tall, so she's going to tower over some of the other Marvel Legends, but that's okay because she's supposed to. One thing I want to point out, I'm not entirely sure about this, but it looks to me like the biceps are on the wrong sides. All of the figures that use this mold are like that. That to me looks like the inside of the arm, and that to me looks like the outside of the arm. But then part of the way they sculpted the back half of the tricep, it does look correct the way it is, kind of. Actually, now that I think about it, it doesn't. I'm pretty sure the biceps are on wrong. You can't swap them on her since obviously we have a red one here. But like Hela or Hela, whatever, however you pronounce that, hers I think you can swap, so I'm going to have to look into that. It's not a horribly noticeable problem. I imagine most people didn't notice it at all. It does look to me though like this should be on the outside, because you do have those 3 muscle groups on the outside of your bicep and not much on the inside. I don't know. It's not a horrible problem, but it is something worth noting. So her head obviously is all new. The hair is really stiff, so you can't move the head at all. Be aware of that. It does have some really nice shading on it. Her face is mostly painted pretty well. And then the paint app for the rest of her is actually not too bad. I've seen some people that had bad ones, but mine is actually okay, other than this chip mark on her abs. It looks pretty good. They did a decent job with the gold on here, and the red lining's okay. The gold lightning down her pants is actually pretty well done. It's nice and shiny, which I love their metallic paints that they've been using, and it's pretty nicely lined up. Same thing on this side. I'm pretty pleased with that. And then lastly, we have this kind of stitching pattern going on with the gold and black. It's really well done also. The only issue I have is a little bit of a mess up back here, but you know, that's going to happen on a production figure. So on a mass production figure, I'm okay with it. Really, it's just the biceps that are a problem, and those will probably be easy enough to hide. I don't know why nobody caught that sooner. It seems to be on every figure that uses this mold, but it's still a pretty darn good figure. As far as articulation goes, you already saw the head is pretty limited. Shoulders are pretty much unlimited. All you want to do, you can with the ball hinge there. Bicep swivel, single jointed elbow, but you do get almost 90 degrees, so it's not horrible, and we do get the swivel that's out of that also. The wrists swivel and hinge. Both hands have the gripping hand. The diaphragm joint works really well. I'm perfectly happy with that. Much better than a waist twist, because a waist twist ruins the sculpt. The belt is a floating piece, but it doesn't need to be since there's no articulation there. Doesn't really matter either way. Hips are severely Y-jointed though, so that's a problem. It's really hard to pose the hips, especially with the lightning lining up. It's almost impossible. But you can move them around and get the legs into some at least okay poses. It's just kind of awkward to get it done, but you can do it, so it's not too bad. It's still a pretty bad Y-joint though, as far as Y-joints go. Thigh swivel, you just saw that. Double jointed knee, no problem. Ankle hinge works really well. Ankle rocker works fine also. This one seems to be a little bit crooked, the joint itself, because even when you rotate the foot, it's kind of out of whack. This side seems to be much better. I don't know if that's a common thing or if maybe mine just got mismolded, but it's not a big deal. It's just something to be aware of. If you're shopping around, keep an eye on that left ankle and see if you can spot something or not. She does come with an accessory, which is this big ball and chain. It's a little awkward for her to hold because the way the handle is sculpted like this, you pretty much have to have her hold it like this. So you can play around with that obviously and figure out a good way to pose it, but it's going to be a little bit awkward even if you do it the other way. So I don't know, that's up to you, or just flex it around and make her hold it in both hands and then you'll be okay. But it's a pretty cool figure. It's not like a great figure, but there's not too much to complain about. If the biceps weren't messed up, then it really wouldn't be too bad. So I'm going to say I recommend it. It's a pretty decent figure, nice piece to add to the collection. Stick around for some photos here at the end, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see my upcoming figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.